Welcome back to the Metro on WDET. I'm Robin Vincent.
And I'm Tia Graham. And the public library is more than just a place that houses books and other reading materials, as I'm learning. It's a community hub, an art gallery, sometimes summer barbecue spot, and even a place to rent tools. But why don't more people use their public libraries? And why don't they know about all of the cool offerings that happen all year long?
Tia, do you know about all of the cool offerings happening all year long?
I do. I do.
Because of the research you did for
I was going to say, because of the work that I do on a daily basis, I do know what's happening in the library system here.
All right. So you're up on that. Now tell me this. What's the last book you read from the library?
You know, honestly, probably a Shel Silverstein book in middle school.
The Giving Tree, Where the Sidewalk Ends. What are we talking about here? Shel Silverstein is the man. I think, though, I'm going to have to shame you right now and say you should be ashamed of your shelf. And that's a Jeff Milo line right there. Shout out to Jeff Milo, who will bring on the mic in a moment here. All right. So my next question, while we have you in the interrogation seat, when was the last time you had a library card?
You know, put me on the spot. Put me on the spot. Honestly, probably high school. It's the last time I owned a library card.
So that means the last time you were in a public library, was it in high school?
No, I've recently been in a public library doing other things and other offerings. You know, they have lots of conversations, panel discussions, different things like that. So I will go to the public library for those extracurricular activities and events. But to actually like get a book or to do some of the other cool things that they have to offer that you can take with you, falling short.
Hey, there is no shame here because Jeff Milo is here to get us excited about going to the library, about why we should spend more time at libraries. He's the host of My Weekly on WDET. He's also an employee at Ferndale Public Library and, unsurprisingly, an avid reader. Jeff, welcome to the Metro.
Yeah, and I should say that my microphone was not muted, so that when Tia said she hadn't had a library card, I was restraining myself.
I saw that. I saw you squirming, and I saw one tear roll down your cheek.
Yeah, no, but it's fine because a library is there for you whether you have your library card or not. It is a space you can enter at all times. It is one of the, if not the last remaining space in the society we live in that does not require you to buy anything upon entry. You can stay there for as long as you want, and it's beautiful.
I wonder if we could talk about one of the really crucial roles that libraries play in safeguarding free speech and being a pillar of democracy, much in the same way that the Fourth Estate, otherwise known as journalism, is too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So you'll see often every September, libraries will get pretty energized about something that is known as Banned Books Week, because there are often ongoing efforts to ban or challenge materials that are available on the shelves of public libraries, and that's censorship, and we don't like that. And that infringes upon something known as your intellectual freedoms, which is covered under the First Amendment, and that means you have the right to access any information you want, even if it's a book. And the thing is that libraries will like to harp on, not that they're going to choose sides here or anything, is that, well, there's a saying out there that a good library has something on the shelves that offends anyone, or at least everything on the shelf might not be for you, but everything on the shelves of the library is for someone.
Yeah.
This is the case that we have to make about free speech and censorship, in that if you are fighting to censor ideas that offend you or that you don't agree with, what happens then when someone else is in power, someone else is making the decisions, and then they decide it's time to censor those ideas that you agree with, right?
Oh, gosh,
which is
yes, exactly.
why we have to fight for free speech for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you've noticed an increase in visitors and library card holders recently.
Oh, I'd say it's been pretty steady at Ferndale for sure. I don't think it's been a surge or a tidal wave, but it definitely picked up after quarantine. And it's been really steady. We've been really liking the numbers. So that's lovely to see. And I think that's because people are realizing how valuable it is to have a library card. So you're saying, Tia, that you haven't been in a library, but you don't have to go into your library anymore to use your library card. You could be doing that all from home if you want to, because your library card will get you access to downloading free ebooks, audiobooks, and then also, for a lot of libraries, streaming movies as well.
We're going to get into all of these special services that Tia is about to start using. But before we do, the Ferndale Library is a community center of sorts. So how is it that the library is able to offer all of these different activities for residents, and what are some of those?
Well, amazing staff. That's simply the answer right there. Amazing, energized, creative staff who are constantly thinking up fun, amazing events and ongoing programs.
One in particular, correct? Sits before us.
I'm a music host here at WDET, so the Ferndale Library hosts monthly concerts. Like, there's your connection there. The local music scene is constantly coming into the library where I happen to work. It's just a coincidence. But that is the thing about library staff. I think they're all bringing their talents to the table, so it's not necessarily that you need a Jeff Milo at your library. You could have someone who is really into fiber arts, who's going to start a fiber arts club. We do now. Or a board game club, or a chess club, or a book club, or a film club, or a sci-fi book club, or a graphic novel book club, etc., etc., etc. Story times for babies, for families. I could go on and on.
So you're saying, though, what's really important to Ferndale Library, and I'm guessing other libraries as well, is having a diverse staff who bring a lot of different life experiences and interests to the table. And again, I'm seeing this parallel again with a good newsroom. The same thing happens in a good newsroom. You have diverse staff members who are bringing a lot of different ideas and life experiences, and that's informing the things that they cover.
Yeah, and you also have to know your community, just like a newsroom has to know your community. We're responding to our community. We're responding to what our community loves. And for just one example, we know that Ferndalians, they love a hands-on thing. If it's a craft, registration fills in like 2 hours. It's like Taylor Swift tickets. So like we're going to keep making programs that have crafts for sure.
What about getting more young people involved? Can you talk about where that sits on the priority list for Ferndale Library?
Well, again, it's a sense of creating community. So we have two very popular programs for middle grade students. We have a board game club for grades 6 through 8, and we have a tabletop RPG club for grades 6 or 8. And yeah, that's kind of beautiful. But the thing is, you're bringing students of that age into the library, which is a wonderful, welcoming space. They get to have some fun, play some RPG, but they're also socializing. They're just hanging out and meeting fellow students. And maybe they aren't even in the same classes during the daytime, but now they're hanging out at the library. It's pretty wonderful. And those things fill up every month that we do them. So
getting some interpersonal skills, getting off of screens.
Yeah, or even our Reading Rainbow Book Club, which is for grades 4 through 8. We partner with Affirmations, which is the community center just down the street. And so that's just a brag for Ferndale. So yeah, but all libraries are doing these kinds of things. Like we're just one example.
You're listening to The Metro on WDET, Detroit Public Radio. I'm Robin Vincent.
And I'm Tia Graham. And we're chatting with Jeff Milo, the host of My Loco, which is a weekly program here every Tuesday on WDET. Jeff is also an employee at the Ferndale Public Library, and he is also an avid reader. And now, in 2016, you talked a little bit about partnering up with WDET. Of course, you traveled to 5 different libraries throughout southeastern Michigan to talk about literacy, to talk about fact-based information and finding. Can you talk a little bit about why you felt that was needed during that time?
2016 feels like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
It's almost a decade.
Well, so this started in January of 2018 after we had endured about a year's worth of, let's just say, loud voices on social media saying things like fake news and alternate facts. What was it? Alternate facts or whatever?
Yeah.
Or what have you?
An alternate fact. I mean, that phrase in and of itself just makes my mind explode.
And we realized that, well, libraries have an important role in strengthening what we call media literacy. We have computer labs. We have talented library staff. If you have questions about how you work your smartphone, we'll probably be able to help you out because we do want you to be able to explore the internet because we want to help you access information. Journalists, on the other hand, very big on information literacy, making sure you can assess what is and isn't real. something else. Well, I don't want to get into that anecdote, but we'll get to it later. So we decided to have panel discussions. I will get into that anecdote in 10 seconds. We decided to have these panel discussions, or I knocked on the door at WDT and said, would you guys come to the Ferndale Library? And we had 3 librarians, 3 journalists, table, microphones. We had 85 people show up, standing room only, Q&A. And we were running through the things of how do you assess information? And even just giving you some of the easy tips, like, did you hear something that sounded preposterously amazing on the internet? Did you Google that and see if, like, the Associated Press and New York Times are reporting on it too? Or was it just like something with a weird URL?
Yeah.
Things like that. So we were going through all that. And then just also journalists and librarians talking about what they do. It was really beautiful. We called it Give Me Some Truth.
Yes.
For any John Lennon fans out there.
Give me some truth. Now, almost 10 years later, what has changed? How different would that conversation look now? Do you see that conversation or conversations like that happening in terms of teaching literacy and talking about literacy and talking about the way we consume what we're seeing right now?
I think we're going to find out. Okay. We are, a month and a half into a new administration. I think we're going to find out. It's been a busy, crazy couple of months. I will say that, and I don't know if I'm like giving myself more work here or having on-air like brainstorming, but we were going to do a round 2 of these. It's just that we had it scheduled for April of 2020, and something happened then. We didn't. We weren't open.
I don't know what happened.
So maybe we'll bring it back around again. Maybe that's the answer to the question.
And I think not trying to plug it. Not trying to plug the metro. Not trying to plug the metro.
Never. We don't do that.
The conversation's ongoing here, isn't it?
Yes,
right
exactly. And would love to take the metro on the road with you to different libraries, and we can figure out what people are feeling, where their minds are, where their hearts are, especially as we just go through so many changes. Within, like you said, it's only been like a month and a half, and we've been through not even a month and a half, a month, and we've been through. It feels like years. So, just hitting on the road again and talking to the folks would be great. So let us know what the Metro can do. And you can, of course,
keep in touch with the American Library Association and the Michigan Library Association. Follow them on social media.
It helps. I do actually.
All right.
I do actually, but I don't use my free library access. But so we're going to get back to the library here. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that you all do offer at the Ferndale Library, just like most libraries, but you all offer so many cool and unique things. You talked about it the last time we spoke. You have tool checkouts. You can check out tools and all types of cool things. So can you talk about the resources that you offer outside of a computer lab and books?
Yeah, that's right. So just on social media this morning, I posted about how our librarians actually installed the whiteboard in our new study room using the tools available in our library of things. That's what we call it. That's what most libraries call it, a library of things, because you think the library is probably just a building full of books. No, we've got things. Let me tell you about the things. We have tools, instruments. You can check out a sewing machine if you want, video games, board games. You can check out seed packets for when March gets here. You can get going in your garden. I mean, I could go on and on. You could stud finders for sure, a metal detector if you lose your ring at the beach. And these are things that you might, be panicking and running to a hardware store to buy. But how many times are you going to use a stud finder? Just that once, So just check it out for 2 weeks from your library with your library card, with the resource that you support as a resident of the city where you live. It's beautiful.
Robert, I was going to say, could you imagine going to the library to check out something that you would normally go buy? I need to go buy this whole new, drill set.
I want to go get a sewing machine now because I left mine behind when I moved back here from Colorado. It needed to be fixed. It was huge and cumbersome, and now I am lamenting that decision. So,
and then I could put a display sign up that says, "Thread anything good lately?"
Oh.
You know what? See yourself out of here, Jeff Milo. That's enough.
Okay, so earlier you did say I could access the library from my house. So what are you talking about, ebooks and movies?
Okay, yeah. So a lot of libraries have what they're usually doing is they're purchasing these digital licenses from publishers. And we have a distributor. It's called Overdrive. And so we're actually building our digital collection. So you can go to the Ferndale Library and click on online resources. It's probably the same for a lot of libraries. You can download an app. One's called Libby. One's called Hoopla. You can just start downloading ebooks and audiobooks just by entering your library card number. So that's in, competition to some things like Audible, which you might have to pay a little money for, which is fine. But and then there's also Canopy. It's what I refer to as the golden age of Netflix from like the 2010s when it actually just had movies. Yeah. Canopy is something you can use your library card for and just stream more up to 30,000 independent films and documentaries right now on your smart device or
free is where you got me. Free. Mm-hmm. Free was where you got me. And the last thing is what are some of the most surprising things that you have found, learned, communicated through the Ferndale Library?
Just from working there?
Yeah.
I think it goes back to how you said you'd been to libraries. And what I've evolved to realize is that library is a space. It's not only just a place that you can get things from, which are wonderful, but it literally is just a space. And it's also a space where very creative, nice, friendly, informative, helpful people work. And I just think that's beautiful. So let us just say, it is for everyone. Anyone can walk in, and because of intellectual freedoms, you can get exactly what you want, whatever you're looking for. Librarian is there to help you.
I love it.
And everyone on staff, we're there to help you.
And I've never met a mean person at the library who worked at the library. Not once. Not once. So, go to the library, support your local libraries, make sure you're talking to the librarians and all the employees there as well, because they're there to help you. Jeff Milo is the marketing coordinator at the Ferndale Public Library and the host of My Local here on WDET. You can tune in to My Local every single Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's right. And we don't really shush you at the library either. Just don't dog-ear the pages.
Coming up, we're talking snow days. Does it seem like they're called too easily nowadays? We want to hear from you at 313-577-1019. This is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. And this is The Metro.